Everybody, BK with Masada Tactical, and today we're going to discuss how to address a knife attack. Knife attacks come in a variety of shapes and forms, and when we talk about a knife attack, also it's important to understand that we're not talking on necessarily a dedicated blade. It can be any tool of opportunity that has a point or an edge to it. There are different types of attacks, such as stabs, slashes, or just threats towards a body part like a throat or midsection. Today we're going to discuss specifically stab attacks. We try to address them all the same. Some of the realities that we should accept when dealing with knives. First of all, you're probably going to get cut. The only way you're not going to get cut if is that person attacking you is not committed to the attack. They didn't make that switch in their head yet and they have some reservations. But if they're committed to it, even if you do everything perfect, chances are that you're going to get cut. Our goal is to minimize how many times and where. Second thing we have to understand, and this is statistically speaking, we know most people that got attacked with a blade did not realize there was a blade in the fight until after the fight was over. Lessons for us is that we cannot have one defense against an empty hand and a different one against a blade, because in the heat of the moment we may not know. Whatever works for one has to work for the other. Therefore, our knife defense is very similar to what we would do against a hook or a haymaker. As long as the attack comes from the outside, whether there's a tool there or not, we address them all the same. And lastly, again, statistically speaking, stabs have a higher lethality potential compared to a slash. There are obviously exceptions to the rule. Slashes towards the carotid, femoral, or brachial may end up being fatal, but most slashes, because they go towards extremity, they will not necessarily kill you. They will look gnarly, but not actually be lethal. Most stabs go towards torso and throat, making them a lot more dangerous because of danger to high internal organs and larger blood vessels. Under extreme stress, it's going to be very hard for us to use any fine motor skills. Even if we train in a skill multiple times, our body's going to do what a body is designed to do under stress. And that is, if something is coming towards my face, is that flinch or startle response. So as Curtis attacks me, we're going to start with overhand. My body is likely going to flinch. Anytime something comes towards my face or a vital area, my body will have the tendency of trying to protect itself. I'm going to put both hands up just to try and stop it. There is a chance again that that blade may make contact with me and cut me, but again, I'd rather get cut in my arm than, let's say, get stabbed in my neck. Reality is, once again, if you don't mind, Curtis, once I blocked, I have two options. One of them is to stay in and counter strike, but if he has a blade and he continues to cut me, even if I knock him out, I'm still going to end up dead, and that is not a trade-off I'm willing to take. The other one is I'm going to block and possibly move away, and all Curtis is going to do is keep following me with more attacks, and I may be able to block 1, 2, 3, the fourth one is going to go in. So that's not a viable option either. So what we're going to do is actually try to create ourselves our opportunity to transition to another tool or create space. And we create that opportunity by disrupting brain process. So as he counts and I block, I immediately follow up with a counter strike. This strike obviously or hopefully does some damage, but the reality is what I'm mostly looking for is for a fraction of a second for Curtis to think about something other than stabbing me, creating the opportunity for me to draw a gun or transition to another tool like picking up a chair or putting a stick or even just running away. There is a chance I may have to do it several times. So Curtis comes and I block and maybe did not create the damage, and I may have to do this multiple times until I created that opportunity. Hopefully it gets hit in the face enough times to where he's starting to move towards me a little slower. That gives it the opportunity to again either create as much space as I can or transition to other tools. Notice that throughout this demonstration, at no point did I try to disarm Curtis. Reality is that when I start thinking about takeaways or disarms, I am now focusing on the tool and not the person. And if he has one knife and I'm focused on it, he still has another hand or feet that he can use, or potentially even another tool. And that now took my attention from him to the weapon, which is something I don't want to do. The other thing, any disarm or takeaway is fine motor skills, which requires dexterity and attention to detail. When my adrenaline is high, my stress level is high, that may not be something I can easily accomplish. All that said, there is that worst case scenario. I cannot create the space, I cannot disengage fast enough, and I may have to control the weapon and take it away from him. The extreme example that we typically use in classes is, think about you being stuck in an elevator with somebody that is wielding a knife at you. I can't create a space, I can't necessarily get away, and even if I shot him, he can still keep cutting me. So the reality is I may have to control the knife and eventually disarm him. It's something that we leave as a very last resort. and understanding that even though in demonstration it may look cool and it may look like it works, the reality is that under stress, there are no guarantees. And that's why we always suggest to our students, do not count on the disarm. Your better option is creating space or transitioning to a higher force option. For purposes of this video, assume that I already did a few times the block counter and tried to disengage. But as we said, maybe I don't have the opportunity, environment is not permissive, I'm stuck for whatever reason, and I have to control him here. Obviously, I still want to disrupt brain process to gain the opportunity where he's not paying attention. I'm buying fractions of seconds that he's not paying attention. At this point, he's thinking about my fist making contact with his hand, with his face, and not about his hand. What I'm gonna do here is I'm just gonna bring that end up. There are many ways how I can disarm him. The one that I like best, because it's the grossest motor skill, is actually make a fist and strike the back of his hand. And that usually will cause him to let go. And now I can continue and finish the fight. That knife on the ground is no threat to me. Again, if there are other people around, it's something I want to be cognizant of, but I focus on the assailant, not the tool. From a lethal standpoint, knife for civilians represent the highest risk area. Even though there are more people carrying guns, knives, or anything with an edge or a point to it, it's still a lot more viable, and people grab whatever they can grab. And if you think about your environment, your office, your kitchen, your home, you realize that there's a lot of things that can be used as an edge weapon. Therefore, it's important for us to understand how we should address those. Remember, space and time is your friend. Our goal is to create ourselves the opportunity to disengage and transition to another tool. If you carry a gun, great. If you don't, anything would do, anything that would keep them at bay. A broomstick, a chair, a table, closing doors between you and them, whatever you can do to make sure they don't get any closer. At the end of the day, if you do have to disarm, you saw that there is an option. Just again, I am very much cautious of not necessarily stressing it because the complexities of actually being able to do this under stress. I hope you found this video helpful. Hope you never have to deal with a knife. And as always, keep following your social medias, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Until next time, watch your six.